Hey y'all, and welcome back to Northwest Florida Garden. We're going to be doing another garden tour and just walking through and showing you guys what's growing in the garden right now, what we have put in since April. If you missed, I did an April garden walkthrough at the beginning of the month, and it is now May. We did a good bit of work on the garden, got a lot more stuff planted, so a lot more is growing. Very excited about that. We got some crops coming to the end of their cycle, so we can walk through and talk about that. But I really enjoyed getting to walk around the garden last month, and I kind of want to try and see if I can do it each month just as a little intro. These guys behind us were being so cute, I figured we could start the video here. These are Kuni pigs, and they get all of the stuff that doesn't go so well in the garden. They get that or any extra crops. So they're always here. When they hear me go into the garden, they kind of come up to this area because the garden gate is like right there, because they know when I'm done I'll have a handful of something to throw them, and they get super excited. But yeah, so let's go ahead and make this intro short and sweet. Let's go into the garden row by row like I did last time, and I'll show you guys what's growing right now. Okay, so first up we have garlic in this row. As you guys saw last time, nothing much has changed, except I did try to fertilize with blood meal, which was an absolutely horrible decision because we have cats and we also have other animals that roam around here. But after I put that, I noticed our cats in the garden a lot. They were chewing, digging up the ground. They absolutely love the blood meal, so that was a bad idea. But whatever it is, that also, this could all be our cats, but they are being very rough with them, and I don't know if it's breaking so much as just being rough and laying them down. These honestly I don't think are from the animals. We had a ton of rain the past couple days, and it looks like, as you can see here, since I haven't put any new compost or hilled this or whatever since I planted these last year, so it's just gotten washed out. So I'll probably be pulling those this week, whatever's laying down and whatnot. I'll just pull it. I need to lay a new drip line because this is a soaker hose I used before. I'm switching over to all drip hoses. So I need to do a lot of TLC to this row, but I've been waiting for the garlic to come out. I think as long as the other ones are still good, they should have another, I feel like, month or two. I feel like people were saying their garlic is usually ready like more summertime, but anyway, hopefully we get some garlic. I had pulled one that was like that a couple weeks ago, and it was starting to separate. Like I had the clove, and then I had a couple cloves forming in it. I don't know, like multiplying. So I'm on the right track. I just feel like it's a little early, so I'm really hoping some of these stay in the ground so that we get a decent crop of garlic, because I am entirely out of the garlic I grew last year. Moving on to the second row, these are a type of field pea that I got from a friend at church that she gave me. Really hope I'm doing it right. Not many of them, like not all of them germinated. There were a few holes in here you can see, but it also could have been that we have I don't know if it's rabbits or rats, but whatever we have, when I direct sow, I usually lose some of them because, especially beans, when they're coming up, they get nibbled down. So not all of them made it, but I didn't want to start these inside, so I just direct sowed them. Some are coming up. We'll see what we get. And then we have some, oh, what is that? I think that's an eggplant. And then lettuce. This is the last of the lettuce, I believe. They haven't bolted yet, but they're really full and looking beautiful. So I need to either harvest the sides and let them go a little longer, or just pull them up and harvest them now. Couple more eggplants here. These are my volunteer carrots from last, I think I showed you guys last month. There's a little top right there starting to grow. But anyway, I had planted these in the fall. I want to say this whole, probably from here to here, planted a whole packet. None of them germinated, so I threw in the bucket. I was like, oh well, I'll just plant something else here. And then these two, or maybe three, I forgot, I think it's just those two, sprouted. So we're getting 2 carrots in this row. Moving farther down, we have, want to say squash. These two are squash. I really need to put a pole in here and support them up because I'd like them to be more upright than sprawling the ground, just to see if that helps them, but that's what they are. These two are lettuces. These are bolting. I'll give these to the pigs before I go inside, but was lettuce. We got tomato cages here, but I got some flowers growing right in there. That's promising. This is a nasturtium that I think is about to flower. Another tomato. Few more garlics, like that one I'll probably pick because it's totally laying down. And then another thing of, got caught on my my plants. Another thing of tomato, another marigold, and I think that's a tomato, but it's really not looking good, especially compared to that guy. So I might just pull that to give it more room so that this guy can thrive. But anyway, That is the second row. Moving on to the third row here, I got some marigolds. I just seeded a bunch of marigolds indoors, and as they've been finishing or like getting big enough, I've been putting them literally wherever I can put them. That's my philosophy for flowers, just put them wherever. I got 2 collards that have been getting really hammered on with the bugs, kind of disappointed. And then this thing over here is a dill, but it starts over here, but then it's so big and long, it like stretched over there, and then the wind blows. Poor thing's laying down, but it's still there. I figured it'll still be a good pollinator even if it's not standing up straight. This is a squash as well. Any fruit on it yet? This looks like it could be promising. That might be it. We had one forming, but then it fell off, so it didn't get pollinated enough. So hopefully we'll get something on there. 3 more squash plants there. And then the rest of these are potatoes that, honestly, looking at this, I'm gonna be pooling. I think I'll try to let the ground dry up a little bit, but we're expecting rain in a couple more days and like several days of rain. So I think I'm gonna pull at least this row because it's doing worse than the row next to me. I think I'll pull this next week. I need to recheck the dates of when I planted this, because I think this takes 3 months technically to really produce good potatoes. Second year I've tried to do potatoes. The first year I planted them too early, and then a frost killed them, and then they didn't get watered enough. So these have been plenty watered, no frost hit them, so hopefully we get something down there. This is a cucumber that I put here because I thought this potato didn't come up for like weeks and weeks and weeks. So I was like, okay, the potatoes must stop here. So I planted a bunch of cucumbers, and then that popped up. So we have a cucumber, 1 less potato, and then it goes on from there. And then these are just a wall of cucumbers that I really need to continue doing this, doing this row here. As you can see, it's starting to get pretty darn tall. And I see tons of flowers. That's exciting. It's been such a busy week. This past week I have not spent hardly anywhere near enough time in the garden, so I really need to take some time. I'm hoping this week will be a little bit more chill. I can take some time, help with the trellising, really get in there and look. But I see lots of flowers, so hopefully we will have little cucumbers forming, because I am ready. I'm ready for some cucumbers. Moving on to the next row, we have a wall of tomatoes that I technically put too close together, but I'm gonna try to just keep in between trimmed up, so hopefully they're okay. I decided to try this trellising technique here, where if you look up, I have a clothesline wire, and then attached to the wire I have little like just strings, I don't know, twine, that I anchored into the ground, and then I'm winding the tomato plant around it as it grows up, just to try that method. I feel like it'd be pretty easy to do in the garden, so I wanted to see how I like that versus the other tomatoes I put caged. But here is where I did that method, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 tomatoes. I got a few random, like that's a collard, and then that is a celery plant I really need to go and harvest from just to keep it growing, but it looks like it's starting to bolt right there. Bummer, that's new from this past week because I didn't see it bolting before, but that's celery. That was fun to grow. This plant right next to the last tomato right there is a spinach that bolted, and that's a collard. Oh, this is a tiny little tomato plant right there that apparently doesn't want to grow compared to the one next to it. And then a collard, another tomato, and then that mammoth is parsley that went to seed. I cannot believe how crazy that parsley went. It started to go to seed, and I was like, oh, I'll let it go to seed, give it to the the pollinators and whatnot, it'll flower and all that. And I did not anticipate how crazy it was going to get, because it used to start, or like before it's bolted, it was like down to here, just a little bushy thing. So I was like, oh, that'll be fine if it flowers, but like I had to cut it on this side because I couldn't even walk there, and I really need to cut it on this side so I can walk. But yeah, I did not know parsley went that crazy when it bolted. Oh my goodness. And then moving on in here, we have more potatoes. These guys are looking better than that first row we showed, but I am starting to see yellow leaves and stuff, and that typically is a sign that the plant is finished and done all it can when it comes to growing potatoes underneath. So fingers crossed, that means we got potatoes under there. Moving on, we have, these are peas. They're really not liking all the heat, so I'm pretty sure that next time I do a monthly garden tour, these probably won't be in there because they're on their way out. I forget, I think these were sugar daddy peas. They're 3 different kinds of peas. I really liked growing both of these. Was not such a big fan of these. I liked how small they were because they didn't grow super crazy, but they also didn't produce like the ones that grew super crazy, because you guys can see this one I mean, it was tall, it grew tall, it wanted to go taller than I had for it, and it's like folded over, it's so tall. But yeah, all of these peas will probably be pulled out here soon because they're kind of at the end of their rope, or the end of their life, and I am leaving some of these I didn't catch in time, so I was leaving them on the vine so I can collect seeds. And then, yeah, this one was really fun. I would want to do this one again. It was a purple pea. Inside is just a regular green pea, but it's purple on the outside, makes it so easy to pick because it just stands out. But it's also just fun. Like, my daughter took the hulls after I was done and like mashed it up and make a paint because it actually stains your fingers when you're hulling them. It's just a lot of fun with kids. They loved those purple peas, so I'll definitely be planting those again next year or maybe this fall. Oh, and I went right by it, but this is the parsley, and it looks like this one is another parsley. It's also starting to bolt, so I am going to nip that in the bud because that is what that bush down there started out, and I don't need that big of a bush in this section of the garden, so I really need to snip that off. But let's keep going to the next row. We got a little marigold here, and then this is mainly onions, and I am so excited. I am pretty sure last month there was really nothing to see when it came to the onions, but look, they are bulbing, and I am so excited because I thought it would be another bust. I think I've tried to do onions like 2 years before this. Never really worked out, but we are getting onion bulbs. Even if they're tiny, I'm excited. The rest here is spinach, which as you can see is bolting. I'm just gonna let it bolt until I need to put something in there. And then more onions. This is a little too close together, my fault, but hey, 3 little onions bulbing, but this I think is my biggest one. Look at that. And the neck has fallen over, so I'm going to be pulling that. That is definitely probably the biggest onion that I grew out of this whole row. But that right there makes it worth it because I'm like, okay, I can grow onions. I just need to get better at it. But yeah, anyway, if you don't know anything about growing onions, when they fall over like that, that means they're done growing. So yeah, I'm gonna pull that definitely before the rain, but I honestly should just pull it tonight. But yeah, super excited about those that I actually got to grow them. Then we got eggplant, I'm pretty sure. Eggplant, want to say that's a zinnia flower. And then we got more random onions. These bulbed, but again, they're super, super tiny. These ones that are really tiny out here were ones I ordered starts of. That big bulb that I have, that's actually one I started from seeds. So I'm gonna try in the fall to start all of them from seeds and just see if that works better for me. And then yeah, onion. I can't remember if that's a plant or if that's a weed, honestly. This kind of just looks like a weed. Pretty sure that is. This is a nasturtium flower. It's edible, like flower and leaves. So that's cool, but it's a really pretty flower, and I just like to have flowers in the garden for pollinators and all that stuff. So anyway, this is garlic chives. I think when I did my last video garden tour, this was freshly transplanted, and as you can see, it looks great. So it transplanted, no issues. Broccoli still here, but honestly it's just for the bugs, the birds, and the pigs because it's pretty bug infested. Oh, and then we have more cucumbers, which I can see a tiny little cucumber. That's super exciting. Cucumbers, then more broccoli. That's on its way out. I want to say that's a zucchini maybe? I'll have to look at zucchini. There's the zucchini. They're not growing too crazy fast, but hopefully they start. That I want to say is it's not colored. I think it's a cabbage, but it's not forming a head very well. These I believe are squash plants that are flowering, so we should get something. This is a colored plant that got really overtaken with bugs. I sprayed it with BT. We had a hard rain, so honestly I need to spray it again. Look at that. Pretty sure those, I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure those are eggs you don't want on your plants. So I'm gonna have to double check that I have that right and then squish them all. But as you can see, it got decimated when I couldn't get out here for a couple days in a row. I sprayed it. It definitely helped lessen it, but it's still struggling to recover. So we'll see if that recovers at all. I'd like to try to keep a colored plant all year long, but I don't know if I will. Squash. This is a cabbage that honestly looks pretty darn good. That's a nice little head forming. This is dill or fennel? No, fennel. This is fennel. Looking great. Loving life. This is cilantro that is bolting. And then more collards. And then this rest, besides that little broccoli, is all kale and a nasturtium, but lots and lots of kale. The kale honestly is looking really good. I'm super happy with how it's handling the heat, and honestly the bugs too. The bugs haven't been all that bad on the kale. It's mostly the collards and the broccoli that the worms have been eating like crazy. Moving on, we have, let's see, we're changing the lighting a little bit because it's really shaded here, but this whole row is peanuts. Like all the way down, I have nothing but peanuts. Not super exciting, but they're all starting to grow. They've been very slow to take off. As you can see, if you've never seen a little peanut plant, this is what they look like. Over here, this whole row is corn. I have 3 different types of corn going down this row. I know it's hard to see, but 3 different types of corn, and then at the very end I have something else will go down there. But these corn in the front that are the biggest, I actually started in seeds, and then the rest I direct sowed, so that's why they got a bigger head start. But I got like sweet corn, and then I have popcorn, a type of popcorn farther down here, and then the last type of corn I have is Jacob's Tears, I think it's called, which has honestly not sprouted too well. That's this bare spot right here, but I'm hoping it sprouts a little bit. It's a decorative like type of corn that's more for like beads and stuff. I wanted to plant it and grow it for my daughter because she loves that type of thing. And then the rest down here I believe is zucchini. I just transplanted them, I want to say within the last week, so they usually kind of get a little stunted. Moving right along, we have bush beans for the rest of this. This whole entire row is contender bush beans. I've heard nothing but good things about this type of plant. I need to see if I can sit that up and save it. I need to put some more compost on this row because, again, we got torrential, like downpour heavy rain yesterday, and I can tell it's kind of washed a few of these rows a little bit bare. But thankfully not completely washed them out, so that's good. But yeah, these rows I need to put it higher on my list to finish out the middles. As you can see, a lot of them aren't finished. Just as a quick glance over, a lot of them aren't finished, like putting the mulch down, and this row has nothing, but the mulch definitely helps slow any heavy rain coming down because we kind of live on a hill, so this can take a beating when we get heavy rain. So I need to put more mulch to help slow it down so that it doesn't wash out so much dirt when we get a heavy rain. Moving on, this row is a large part of it is ground cherries. They're not doing too great, as you can tell from all the bare spots, but they are still surviving, so that's good. I need to plant some more inside and direct sow them in the hole, or not direct sow them, but put them in the holes that didn't grow later so that we can get some ground cherries. I like growing ground cherries. The rest of this is pretty empty. I haven't put anything in this yet, but then down here, I have lima beans, and they are Christmas something lima beans. They are like red, and that seems super fun, so I wanted to grow them. They are very, very, very slow to get started. I'm just now, like, this was coming out, I want to say I planted them like 2-3 weeks ago, and just within the last week they started to emerge. So I'm hoping more will, because I did all right here, from here all the way over. But so far, I haven't seen anything. Hopefully the hard rain we've been getting didn't wash them away. And then the last row we have here are pumpkins and watermelon. So the pumpkins are starting to take off, and my goal and thought is for this last row, as the pumpkins and watermelon get growing, I'm going to take all the tendrils and direct them this way so it can act as a ground cover for this area where we don't really have anything going on, and leave the walkways and the rest of the garden free of the crazy growth that watermelon and pumpkins can do. So I've already started a little bit like this one. I'm going to turn it around and face it that way, but I've already started to direct them the right direction, and then if they really don't want to go that direction, I'll just like snip the tendrils that right there so it doesn't go this way, and everything will grow that way. That's my plan. But yeah, pumpkins are looking great. Watermelon is definitely not as vicious and like intense of a grower as pumpkins are, but they are still, oh my goodness, this poor thing got just destroyed or just covered in the rain. But watermelon's still doing great. And between some of it I put nasturtium. Again, I had a flower, I just want to put something there. But yeah, those are the watermelons. So I think that is everything in the garden today for May. There's a quick overview of the garden. I'm really excited where things are growing, how things are going. So that's gonna do it for today's video. That is the walkthrough of our garden. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's always nice to see as we go along month to month how we progress and what we pull and what we plant in the garden. They're fighting over the lettuce, but that is gonna do it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in my next one next month.